And turning now to the big story of the day in our state's capital, where Governor Rick Snyder's gearing up to give his second State of the State address. And 24-hour News 8's political reporter Rick Galvin is your source for coverage on this. Live in Lansing right now has more on what we can expect to hear from the governor tonight. Good afternoon, Rick.
Brett, not only is it the big story of the day, this could prove to be one of the bigger stories of the election cycle, because tonight, just a few hours from now, under that dome, the governor will lay out his plan, his legislative plan, his directives for what he would like to see happen over the next 12 months. Why is that so important for the election? Well, it's pretty clear that with an election looming, with control of the state house up for grabs, the governor is going to have to measure between what he wants to do and what will be politically acceptable. That is, what will he be able to get his House members to go along with, given that they're going to have to go back and ask for re-election this November. And it's not just about this year's election here at the state level, it's also about a federal election that could be very important for a state Senate seat and, of course, the race for the presidency. So what is the governor going to talk about? Will he lay out plans to perhaps, or as an example, raise the registration fees on automobiles in order to repair roads? Something we've heard, can't confirm that, but that's one of the areas he may talk about. He's certainly going to talk about paying down the debt, and he's also going to be talking about how Michigan needs to continue to get better in that dashboard that he laid out. We showed you last night, and we have a link to it at woodtv.com. We, of course, will be here with the most comprehensive coverage. We'll have multiple crews. We'll be inside. We'll be outside. We'll be talking with all of the top legislators, the leaders from the House, the Senate, and also from the administration, all right here throughout the day on 24-hour News 8. We're live in Lansing. I'm Rick Albin. Back to you.
Let's take a second here. Let's talk about that presidential election here real fast, if we could here. We're talking about really high-stakes politics. What's going to happen here come November, and how much of a role will Michigan play in the situation, as well as what the governor has to say today? How will that play out then as well?
Well, Michigan is going to be pivotal, particularly if a couple of things fall in place. We've talked about it dozens of times, Brett. No Democrat has won the White House without winning Michigan, save Harry Truman in '48 and in 1976 when Jimmy Carter did not win, but he was running against Jerry Ford. So for the Democrats, Michigan is always a must win. Now, what happens with the presidential nomination process on the Republican side could be very pivotal, and that's why I think this governor is going to have the election at least in the back of his mind as he talks tonight, because if you get a candidate in Michigan from the Republican standpoint that has a chance to win the state for the first time since 1988, it is very likely that the state Republicans and the party here doesn't want to do anything to mess up those chances. So the governor's going to have to balance politics and policy perhaps more than any State of the State speech that we've seen in a number of years. That's what I'm going to be watching for tonight.
All right, thank you so much. Rick Galvin live in Lansing for us. And we're your best connection tonight's address. Starting at 5 o'clock, Rick Galvin will bring you live interviews with the Lieutenant Governor and other key lawmakers. Then he'll take you inside the Capitol tonight at 7 o'clock. We'll carry that speech live on WXSP and online at woodtv.com. Plus, count on team coverage from Rick and Joe LaFurgey. They'll both be there after the speech at 10 o'clock on XSP and at 11 o'clock on Wood TV.